The massive colony ship Horizon drifted silently through the void, its sleek hull gleaming under distant starlight. Inside, Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, watching her daughter Maya practice zero-gravity acrobatics with the other children. The ship carried Earth's brightest hopes, 5,000 colonists bound for Kepler 186f, humanity's first extrasolar colony. "Time for studies, little monkey," Sarah called out, trying to hide her amusement as Maya executed one final flip before grabbing a handrail. At 8 years old, Maya had spent half her life aboard the Horizon *, and it showed in her effortless navigation of zero-G. The ship's AA chimed softly. Unusual energy signature detected, bearing 047 Mark 223. Before Sarah could process this information, space itself seemed to tear open. A massive vessel emerged, dwarfing the Horizon *. Its surface rippled with patterns of light that hurt Sarah's eyes to look at directly. First contact had arrived without warning or preparation. The alien ship's initial transmission came as pure mathematical equations, universal constants that proved their intelligence. Within hours, their computers had established basic communication. The visitors called themselves the Varax and claimed to be peaceful explorers. Captain Rodriguez arranged a diplomatic meeting aboard the Horizon *. As chief xenobiologist, Sarah attended alongside other senior staff. The Varax delegates towered over the humans, their crystalline bodies refracting light in hypnotic patterns. Their spokesman transmitted thoughts directly into human minds. "Your species intrigues us," the aliens' thoughts resonated. "Such primitive technology, yet you venture so far from your world. We wish to study you." Sarah felt a chill at those words. Before anyone could react, the Varax released a paralytic gas. As consciousness faded, Sarah's last sight was Maya being carried away by crystalline arms, her daughter's face frozen in terror. Sarah awoke in a sterile chamber. Through observation windows, she saw other humans in similar rooms, subjected to various tests. The Varax moved between chambers, recording results with clinical detachment. Their true nature became clear. They saw humans as fascinating specimens, nothing more. Days passed in a blur of tests and observations. Sarah learned that the Varax were part of a vast confederation of species who viewed less advanced races as research subjects. Humanity's determination to colonize space, despite their primitive technology, had drawn their attention. Then came the day Sarah overheard two Varax discussing Maya. The juvenile specimen shows remarkable adaptive capabilities. Recommend advancing to Phase 2 trials. Something in Sarah snapped. The Varax had overlooked a crucial detail: human parental instinct. That night, she discovered that her physicist's knowledge of radiation could interfere with Varax crystalline biology. A makeshift device from her room's medical equipment created a frequency that caused them severe disorientation. As alarms blared, Sarah fought her way through the facility. She found Maya in a testing chamber, along with other children. Using her device, she cleared a path to the emergency pods the Varax kept for specimen transport. "Hold on tight," Sarah told the children as she activated the pod's launch sequence. "We're going to show them just how primitive humans can be." The pod shot away from the Varax ship, broadcasting a distress signal. The Horizon * crew, who had been frantically searching for their missing people, responded immediately. As rescue ships approached, Sarah held Maya close, watching the Varax vessel through the pod's viewport. The Varax had underestimated humanity's resourcefulness, our bonds to each other, our refusal to be treated as mere test subjects. They would soon learn that humans were not specimens to be studied. We were equals to be respected, or adversaries to be feared. And this was only the beginning of humanity's introduction to a much larger, more complex galaxy than we had ever imagined. News of the Varax encounter spread through human space like wildfire. Within months, Earth's governments united under the Emergency Space Defense Initiative, ESDI. But while military leaders called for weapons development, Maya Chen had a different vision. The 12-year-old survivor of the Horizon incidents stood before the United Earth Council, her voice steady despite the hundreds of eyes upon her. The Varaks didn't understand us because they never tried to communicate as equals. They saw our technology and assumed we were primitive, but we have something they don't understand: empathy. Security footage from the Varaks ship had revealed an unexpected detail. While adult humans registered as simple biological signatures to alien sensors, children's brainwaves created patterns that confused and intrigued the Varaks. Maya's time in captivity had left her with a unique ability. She could sense the crystalline aliens' emotional states, something they themselves had forgotten how to do. Dr. Sarah Chen watched from the gallery as her daughter addressed Earth's leaders. 4 years had passed since their escape, years spent studying the alien technology they brought back. Maya had grown from a frightened child into something extraordinary, a bridge between species. The Varaks aren't evil, Maya continued. They're lonely. Their crystalline evolution left them unable to feel connections the way we do. That's why they study other species. They're trying to understand what they've lost. The council chambers erupted in debate. Some dismissed Maya's insights as childish anthropomorphization. Others saw the strategic value of understanding their adversaries. But before consensus could be reached, deep space sensors detected another Varaks vessel approaching Earth. This ship was different, smaller, less threatening. It broadcasted a simple message: we seek the one who understands, the child who sees. Against fierce opposition, Maya convinced the council to let her meet with them. Sarah stood beside her daughter as the Varaks delegation emerged from their ship at the newly constructed Lunar Diplomatic Center. Their crystalline forms had changed, showing subtle colors that Maya said reflected emotional states. "You have evolved since our last encounter," the lead Varaks transmitted. Their telepathic communication felt different now, less invasive, more respectful. "The child speaks truth. We have lost something precious in our pursuit of advancement." Maya stepped forward, unafraid. "Then let us help you remember. Humans aren't just test subjects. We're teachers, friends, partners. We can show you how to feel again." The revelation shook the galactic community. Other species, long treated as research subjects by the Varaks, watched in amazement as human children began teaching the crystalline beings about emotional intelligence and empathy. Maya established the first interspecies understanding initiative, where young humans helped Varaks reconnect with their long-buried capacity for emotional connection. But not all Varaks embraced this change. A powerful faction saw it as contamination of their pure, logical society. They declared the human-sympathetic Varaks defective and launched a campaign to purify their species. Earth found itself caught in a civil war that spanned the stars. Maya's gift became both a blessing and a target. Traditionalist Varaks feared her ability to awaken emotions in their kind. Progressive Varaks saw her as a savior. And somewhere in the vast galaxy, other species began to look at humanity in a new light. Sarah watched her daughter navigate diplomatic meetings with the skill of a seasoned ambassador, using her unique insight to bridge gaps between species. But she also saw the toll it took. Maya carried the weight of 2 civilizations' futures on her young shoulders. As Earth prepared for the possibility of full-scale galactic war, Maya made a bold proposal. "The Varaks fear what they don't understand," she told the council. "So let's help them understand. Not just humans, but every species they've ever studied. It's time to turn their research subjects into research partners." The council chamber fell silent as Maya revealed her plan: a galactic coalition of primitive species, united not by technology or military might, but by their capacity for connection, innovation, and growth. The next phase of human history would test not just our technology or our strength, but our ability to build bridges across the stars. As Maya finished speaking, the quantum communicator chimed. More ships were arriving, representatives from dozens of species Varaks had studied and dismissed. They came not for war, but for alliance. Humanity's greatest strength had proven to be not our weapons or our technology, but our ability to unite others under a common cause. The battle for the galaxy's future would not be fought with weapons, but with understanding. And a 12-year-old girl from a colony ship stood at the center of it all, proving that humanity's greatest power was our capacity to change not just ourselves, but those around us. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see what this unprecedented alliance would become. The Varax supremacy made their move during the first Galactic Coalition summit on Mars. As representatives from 23 species gathered to formalize their alliance, the traditionalist Varax fleet appeared in orbit, led by their most feared commander, Crystallat Vexthor. "Your experiment in emotional contamination ends now," Vexthor's transmission boomed through the summit hall. "We challenge the coalition to trial by combat, as is our ancient right. One champion against our finest warrior. Should you lose, all species will submit to proper study and classification." Maya Chen, now 13, felt the fear ripple through the assembled delegates. The Varax warrior coast was legendary, their crystalline bodies nearly indestructible, their combat abilities enhanced by centuries of genetic engineering. No single fighter could hope to match them. But before the coalition could refuse, an unexpected voice rang out, "I accept." Lieutenant James "Lucky" Martinez stepped forward. The former colony ship security officer had survived the original Horizon incident by protecting a group of children during the Varax experiments. He caught Maya's eye and winked. Sometimes you need a primitive solution to an advanced problem. The coalition erupted in chaos. Even with his combat training, Martinez seemed hopelessly outmatched. The Varax champion, Shard Master Ktol, stood 3 meters tall, its crystalline body bristling with razor-sharp projections. But Martinez had spent the last 4 years studying Varax biology, working closely with Maya to understand their weaknesses. "Trust me," he told the Coalition Council. "They think we're primitive because we still feel fear, pain, and doubt. But those primitive emotions give us something they've lost, the ability to adapt." The trial was set for the Martian arena, broadcast across the galaxy. Kutal entered first, its crystalline form refracting the pale sunlight into deadly lasers. Martinez walked in wearing what appeared to be standard combat armor, carrying only a simple shock staff. "Your primitive weapons cannot harm me," Kutal transmitted, its thoughts tinged with disdain. Martinez smiled. "Good thing I'm not trying to harm you." The battle began. Kutal launched a devastating series of attacks, its crystalline limbs moving faster than human eyes could track. But Martinez didn't try to match the alien's speed or strength. Instead, he danced away, his movements almost playful. The audience watched in confusion as Martinez seemed to merely avoid combat, occasionally tapping his staff against Kutal's crystals, producing soft chimes. Maya, watching from the diplomatic box, was the first to understand. "He's not fighting," she whispered. "He's playing music." Each tap of Martinez's staff sent vibrations through Kutal's crystalline form. The Varax warrior tried to press its attack, but its movements began to sync with the rhythm Martinez was creating. Other Varax in the audience shifted uncomfortably as the harmonics spread. "You're wondering why you can't stop moving to the beat," Martinez said, maintaining his deadly dance. "Your crystalline structure is perfect for conducting vibrations. Humans discovered something similar centuries ago. Certain frequencies can make crystals resonate until they shatter. But I'm not trying to shatter you." Kutal's movements became increasingly uncontrolled as the harmonics forced its crystalline body to vibrate in sync with Martinez's improvised song. The warrior tried to transmit threats, but instead began broadcasting emotions it hadn't felt in centuries: joy, wonder, confusion. "This is what humanity brings to the galaxy," Martinez announced, his staff creating a crescendo of notes. "We don't win by being the strongest or most advanced. We win by finding new ways to connect." Kutal's crystalline form blazed with colors as long-suppressed emotions flooded its consciousness. The warrior sank to its knees, overwhelmed by sensations it had been engineered to ignore. In that moment of vulnerability, Martinez could have struck a killing blow. Instead, he extended his hand. Feel what you've been missing. Then decide if it's really worth destroying. The arena fell silent as Catal reached out and grasped Martinez's hand. The touch sent a final harmonic through its form, and the warrior's crystalline surface shifted from rigid geometric patterns to flowing, organic curves. I feel, Catal transmitted, its thoughts filled with wonder. Crystalart Vexthor's fury shook the arena. This is blasphemy. The trial is invalid, but it was too late. Other Varaks in the audience had been affected by the harmonics. Colors rippled through their forms as emotional barriers crumbled. The rigid hierarchy of their society began to fracture as individual Varaks rediscovered their capacity for choice. Martinez turned to the broadcast cameras. This is humanity's gift to the galaxy. Not weapons, not technology, but the reminder that true strength comes from embracing what makes us all unique, even if those differences seem primitive to others. The trial of combat had become something else entirely, a demonstration that humanity's greatest weapon was never violence, but our ability to transform our adversaries into allies through understanding and innovation. As the Varak's fleet retreated in disarray, Maya rushed to embrace Martinez. You knew they couldn't resist music, she said, grinning. Everyone dances, Martinez replied. Some just need a little reminder how. The galaxy watched in amazement as the story spread. Humanity had won not through superior firepower or advanced technology, but by using art and emotion as weapons of peace. The coalition grew stronger, and the stars themselves seemed to pulse with new possibilities. But Crystalart Vexthor's retreat was not surrender. The greatest test of humanity's approach to galactic peace was yet to come. In the aftermath of the trial by combat, the galaxy entered a period of unprecedented change. Crystalline cities that had stood unchanged for millennia began to pulse with color and music. Young Varaks, inspired by Martinez's performance, sought out human teachers to learn art, music, and dance. But beneath this cultural revolution, a storm was brewing. Crystalart Vexthor had not been idle in defeat. Deep in unexplored space, he gathered traditionalist Varaks and began experimenting with crystal resonance technology, turning humanity's own innovation into a weapon. His scientists developed crystals that could amplify negative emotions, turning peaceful beings into aggressive fighters. The first attack came without warning. A peaceful Andorian colony erupted in violence as hidden crystal emitters drove the normally diplomatic species into a frenzy. Similar incidents spread across coalition space, each carefully engineered to look like natural conflicts. Maya Chen, now working with the coalition's emergency response team, recognized the pattern. They're trying to prove that emotions make us weak, she explained to the coalition council. By triggering our worst impulses, they hope to justify their return to pure logic. But humanity had an unexpected advantage. Earth's long history of conflict had taught us something valuable: how to manage and channel strong emotions. While other species struggled against the crystal-induced rage, human colonists demonstrated remarkable resistance. Dr. Sarah Chen made the crucial discovery. Our brains produce natural dampeners against emotional extremes, she explained. Centuries of storytelling, meditation, and emotional intelligence training have given us natural defenses. We can teach these techniques to other species. The coalition launched Project Empathy. Human mindfulness instructors were paired with Varak scientists who had joined their cause. Together, they developed a revolutionary form of protection. Crystal technology merged with human emotional resilience. Lieutenant Martinez, now leading a specialized defense force, described it as emotional martial arts. Coalition species learned to recognize and redirect negative emotional energy, turning Vexthor's weapon into a tool for positive change. But the traditionalists had one more card to play. They unveiled massive resonance amplifiers capable of affecting entire star systems. Their ultimatum was simple: submit to emotional suppression or watch civilization tear itself apart. The coalition's response came from an unexpected source. Cotol, the former champion who had lost to Martinez, had spent months studying human musical traditions. Working with a team of Earth's finest composers and crystal harmonists from the reformed Varax, they discovered something revolutionary. Music isn't just entertainment, Cotol explained to the Coalition Council. It's mathematics, physics, and emotion in perfect harmony. The traditionalists use discord to create chaos. We can use harmony to restore balance. The plan was audacious. Coalition ships would carry modified crystal arrays, broadcasting a symphony composed by human musicians and refined by Varax harmonics experts. Each species added their own cultural elements, creating a galactic chorus of unprecedented complexity. When Vex Thor's fleet launched their attack on the Coalition capital of New Mars, they encountered something they never expected: a defense system built on beauty. The combined harmonic oscillations of 1,000 different musical traditions, each carrying the emotional strength of its people, created a resonance field that transformed their weapon of discord into a catalyst for connection. The battle became a performance. Coalition ships moved in carefully choreographed patterns, their crystal arrays broadcasting music that turned the very fabric of space into a conductor for positive emotion. Varax warships found their negative resonance weapons transformed, their crews experiencing the full spectrum of feelings they had spent generations trying to suppress. Maya, watching from the Coalition Command Center, felt the change ripple through space. "This is who we are," she transmitted to all ships, her thoughts carried on waves of harmony. Not perfect beings of pure logic, but a galaxy of voices, each adding its own note to the greater song. The traditionalist fleet's formation began to break as individual crews responded to the music. Crystals engineered for war blazed with colors of peace. Ships designed for destruction became instruments in the greatest concert the galaxy had ever known. Vex Thor, watching his weapons transformed into art, faced a choice that would reshape the future of his species. The crystal technology he had developed to prove emotion's weakness had instead demonstrated its ultimate strength: the power to turn enemies into allies through understanding and shared experience. As the harmonics faded, the galaxy held its breath. Humanity had shown that true power lay not in suppressing differences, but in celebrating them. The question now was whether the traditionalists could accept this new reality, or if they would retreat to the cold comfort of pure logic. The battle was over, but the revolution it sparked was just beginning. Across Coalition space, species that had once seen themselves as victims of Varax research began to recognize their own unique contributions to galactic culture. And at the heart of it all was humanity's greatest gift: the ability to find strength in vulnerability, power in diversity, and harmony in chaos. The stars themselves seemed to shimmer with new possibility, as if the music had awakened something ancient and profound in the very fabric of space-time. The great harmonic battle became known as the Symphony of Stars, but its echoes created ripples no one could have predicted. Across the galaxy, species long suppressed by Varax classification systems began to rebel, not with weapons, but with art, culture, and rediscovered traditions. Vex Thor's retreat had left a power vacuum in the traditionalist sectors. Rather than fill it with military might, the Coalition proposed something revolutionary: a galactic cultural exchange. Maya Chen, now heading the initiative at 15, saw it as a chance to transform former research subjects into teachers. "Every species the Varax studied has something unique to share," she explained to the Coalition Assembly. What they saw as primitive traits are actually wells of wisdom we're only beginning to understand. The first Cultural Exchange Center opened on a reformed Varax research station. The same chambers once used to study primitive species now hosted workshops where Andorian empaths taught emotional healing, Zethari warriors demonstrated their legendary moving meditations, and human artists collaborated with crystalline composers. But transformation brought its own challenges. Some species, freed from Varax control, began to reclaim ancient territories. Border disputes erupted as centuries of suppressed grievances surfaced. The coalition faced its greatest test, maintaining peace among newly empowered civilizations. Lieutenant Martinez, working with Quito, developed a novel approach to peacekeeping. Instead of suppressing conflicts, he proposed, we channel them into collaborative challenges, turn competition into creation. The Galactic Games were born, not just tests of physical prowess, but celebrations of each species' unique abilities. Varax crystal architects worked with human designers to build living stadiums that could adapt to any competition. The games became a way for species to showcase their strengths while learning to appreciate others' capabilities. Dr. Sarah Chen made another breakthrough in her continued study of crystal technology. The Varax didn't just suppress emotions, she revealed. They stored them, their cities, their ships, their archives of feeling, waiting to be unlocked. This discovery led to the most ambitious project yet, the Emotional Heritage Initiative. Teams of human psychologists worked with reformed Varax to safely release these stored emotions, allowing species to reclaim lost aspects of their cultural memory. The process was not without risk. Some recovered memories revealed ancient conflicts and buried traumas. But humanity's long experience with processing historical pain proved invaluable. Earth's counselors and conflict resolution experts helped species work through centuries of suppressed feelings. Then came the signal from deep space, patterns of crystal resonance unlike anything encountered before. Maya was the first to recognize its significance. It's not just random emotion, she told the Coalition Council. It's a message, encoded in feelings rather than words. The source was a cluster of crystal formations at the galaxy's edge, far older than any known civilization. As Coalition scientists studied the signals, they realized they were receiving emotional echoes from the galaxy's ancient past, including the original Varax, before they chose logic over feeling. But they weren't alone in this discovery. Vexthos traditionalist faction had detected the signals too. The race was on to reach the crystal cluster first, one side seeking to unlock its secrets, the other determined to destroy this evidence of their emotional origins. The Coalition assembled an unprecedented expedition. The research vessel Harmony carried representatives from every member species, each chosen for their unique insights. Human intuition, Varax crystal technology, Andorian empathy, Zethari warrior discipline, all would be needed to unlock the cluster's mysteries. Maya insisted on joining the mission, despite her youth. These crystals don't just hold the Varax past, she argued. They might contain the key to the galaxy's future. We need to understand them before the traditionalists destroy them. As the Harmony approached the crystal cluster, they detected Vexthor's fleet approaching from the opposite direction. The race to reclaim, or erase, the galaxy's emotional heritage had begun. But this time, the Coalition had more than just technology and strategy on their side. They had understanding born from countless cultures working together, strength forged in the fusion of logic and emotion. The crystal cluster loomed ahead, its ancient formations pulsing with stored feelings that had waited eons to be felt again. Within its crystalline matrix lay not just the Varax's forgotten past, but perhaps the key to the galaxy's emotional awakening. The greatest test of humanity's approach to galactic civilization was about to begin, not a battle of weapons or wills, but a race to recover something far more precious. The truth about why sentient beings chose to feel, and what happens when they try to stop. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see who would reach the cluster first, and what ancient wisdom, or warning, it held for all species who dared to feel deeply in a universe that often seemed coldly logical. The ancient crystal cluster filled the Harmony's view screen, its massive formations spinning in complex patterns that seemed to pulse with buried memories. As Vexthor's fleet approached from the opposite direction, the Coalition expedition faced a crucial decision. We can't fight them here, Maya Chen warned, her enhanced sensitivity to crystal resonance overwhelming. The emotional energy stored in these formations, it's too powerful. One wrong move could trigger a cascade that would release everything at once. The traditionalist fleet opened fire, their weapons carefully calibrated to shatter the crystal formations. But something unexpected happened. Instead of breaking, the crystals absorbed the energy, beginning to glow with increasing intensity. The stored emotions of countless ancient beings began to leak into space. Lieutenant Martinez recognized the danger first. "They're not just memories," he shouted. "They're experiences, entire civilizations' worth of joy, pain, love, and loss. No one's mind is meant to handle that much raw feeling at once." The crew of both fleets began to succumb to the emotional overflow. Varek's crystalline forms blazed with chaotic colors as their logical barriers crumbled. Other species fell into emotional overload, overwhelmed by the weight of ancient feelings. But Maya, trained since childhood to bridge the gap between emotion and logic, saw an opportunity. Working with Kutol and Dr. Chen, she proposed something unprecedented, using the coalition ship's harmonic arrays not to block the emotions, but to channel them. "Everyone, link your consciousness to your ship's crystal matrix," she broadcast across both fleets. "Don't fight the feelings. Let them flow through you, like we taught you. Human emotional resilience, Varek's crystal harmony, every species' unique way of processing feelings, we need them all." The coalition fleet moved into formation, their ship's arrays creating a network of harmonic resonance. One by one, crew members opened themselves to the ancient emotional tide, using their diverse approaches to feeling to help process and understand the flood of experiences. Even some of Vexthor's ships, their crews unable to maintain emotional suppression, joined the network. The combined consciousness of dozens of species became a living filter for the crystal cluster's outpouring, transforming overwhelming raw emotion into something comprehensible. Through this shared experience, the truth of the crystal cluster emerged. It wasn't just a storage system, it was a message left by the galaxy's first sentient beings. They had discovered that true advancement came not from suppressing emotions or elevating pure logic, but from learning to balance both. The ancient civilizations had stored their experiences as a warning and a gift for future species. They had seen how pure logic led to stagnation, while unchecked emotion led to chaos. The path forward required both, the stability of logic enhanced by the adaptability of emotion. Vexthor himself, his crystalline form now swirling with colors he had spent centuries suppressing, finally understood. "We thought we were preserving our species by rejecting emotion," he transmitted. "Instead, we were freezing ourselves in time, becoming living fossils while younger races continued to evolve." The combined fleet maintained their harmonic network for 3 days as the crystal cluster shared its ancient wisdom. When it was done, no one who had experienced it could see the galaxy the same way again. The arbitrary divisions between primitive and advanced species dissolved in the face of the deeper truth. All sentient beings were on the same journey, just taking different paths. Maya, exhausted but triumphant, addressed the assembled crews of both fleets. "This is what humanity brings to the galaxy. Not the most advanced technology, not the strongest weapons, but the understanding that progress isn't a straight line from primitive to perfect. It's a spiral, where we sometimes need to loop back and reclaim what we've lost to move forward." The coalition established a permanent research station around the crystal cluster, now known as the Ancestral Archive. Species from across the galaxy came to learn from the ancient wisdom stored within its formations. But more importantly, they came to learn from each other. Humanity's role in the galaxy evolved. We became known not as conquerors or even peacekeepers, but as bridges, beings who could help others reconnect with their emotional heritage while maintaining the benefits of logical advancement. The Varek civilization underwent its own renaissance, with traditionalists and reformers finding a middle path that honored both logic and feeling. Their crystal cities became living works of art, their technology enhanced by the rediscovered power of emotional resonance. Looking out at the transformed galaxy, Maya reflected on how far they come from that first terrifying encounter on the horizon. Humanity had proven that being primitive, enough to embrace emotion, art, and diversity wasn't a weakness. It was the key to unlocking the galaxy's next stage of evolution. The stars themselves seemed brighter somehow, as if the combined light of countless civilizations learning to feel deeply while thinking clearly had added new frequencies to that ancient radiance. And somewhere in the vast depths of space, other young species were taking their first steps into the cosmic community, ready to add their own unique harmonies to the galaxy's greatest song. The end of this chapter was just the beginning of a new movement in galactic civilization, one that recognized that true advancement came not from suppressing our differences, but from learning to weave them into something greater than any single species could achieve alone.